Three, two, one. Have you ever lost a youth? A youth that you tried to help, but you lost?
Yeah, subhanallah, I did a number of them, different ways, but yeah, it's definitely a very painful thing to
Did you
go
find
through.
anything consistent with any of the losses?
The one consistent thing is people don't speak up, and it's really important. We need to talk to someone. Sometimes we feel that we're a burden on others. Really, that's not the case. If someone is 17, 18, 22, 24, and they have difficult moments in life, they're going through trauma, whatever it is, a lot of times people don't want to open up because they feel they're going to inconvenience others. And unfortunately, sometimes it's simple stuff. It could just be 1 hour of talk or going on a walk by the lake and your issue's done. Unfortunately, in some cases, people take their lives. Other cases, there were accidents and things where they were a little uncareful what they're doing. Hanging out with the wrong crowd, getting into criminal activity, driving too fast without a seatbelt, things like that. But yeah, may Allah forgive them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just for the sake of everyone out there, I mean, there is a crisis line. You can share the number, but definitely.
Do you know the number off the top of your head?
443-429-0095. People can call, text. Also, they can go to Instagram at Youth Crisis Line and send messages. We get a lot of texts from young people, but definitely. If you know someone who you feel is going through difficulty, at least just talk to them, right? Hey, I feel you're not yourself. Are you okay? You can slide them that number, the card. I know, as external, friends and family members or community members, sometimes we feel we don't want to intrude, like we want to give people their privacy. But to your point, there's always a threshold we can't risk, right? So sometimes parents tell me, they call me up and it's like, hey, my son is doing drugs and his life is upside down, and what should we do? And I say, call the police. I say, I can't do that. I say, I'll do it for you. It's okay. And he said, but they're going to hate me for the rest of the time. No, they'll hate you, yeah, for a day or two, but they're actually on the third day going to thank you. And that's what happens. A lot of young people, they've been going through some difficult times in their life, but they're at a point where now they're going to harm themselves. I can't just watch and, pat them on the shoulder. It's like, this is the deal from day one. When I see you hurting others or yourself, I'm going to take some action you might not like at that moment. But you're gonna appreciate it later. And a lot of times, I mean, the young person is sitting in an emergency room in a hospital. He's like, cussing at me. But 2 days later, he's like hugging me and is like, thank you for doing this. So I think the message here is any one of us, young, adult, parent, grandparent, whatever, if you feel someone is not doing well, don't just sit back and watch. Call a number. We get a lot of calls by third party, like a grandmother saying, my grandson doesn't seem to be doing well. Or a mom saying, my kid hasn't come out of his room for a week. Things like that. So, you don't, if you're not trained to talk to your friend or person or whoever it is, that's okay. You can call on behalf of others. But that's how a lot of people, get help.
Yeah, and don't ever don't ever distance things from and actions or events from people. That's one of the things I did. Is I said no, never, not them. And that's one of the things, if you talk to a parent who lost a child to suicide or to an overdose, one of the most consistent things you'll hear is, I would have never thought my child would do this.
Mm-hmm.
And if you talk to their friends, I would have never thought.
What do you mean by distancing things or events from people?
Is like the child that drove fast, for example, without the seatbelt on. Everyone else in the world dies from car accidents, not me.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's the biggest mistake that teenagers especially fall into, is
Mm-hmm.
that they distance hard life events and actions from themselves. Oh, I'm taking cocaine every weekend because I'm in college. Everyone else gets addicted to cocaine, but not me. I don't get addicted to cocaine, and so, until they end up being addicted to cocaine.
Right, right.
Uh,
And of course, there's also sometimes misinformation. Like maybe it's not really everyone doing cocaine like you
yeah,
think,
yeah,
right? Or if everyone is doing it, they're doing it like once every 6 months, not every day. It happens, yeah, everyone is doing it, but every 6 months. So sometimes there's misinformation. But you're right. Yeah, I get what you mean. And the same applies for youth. If they see something not right with their parents. I mean, I
yeah,
remember now a sister in Virginia who killed her 3 children and then killed herself. Right. So also adults are not immune to life stressors. Uh, as a matter of fact, I now remember a number of youth who called the crisis line because their parents needed help. Their parents are going through a divorce. It's like, hey, we need some help here. There's a fire at home, right? Or my dad is treating my mom really inappropriately, or my mom is just going crazy, whatever. So it's okay to get help for your parents, and you can be the best help for them. You as a young person, you can go talk to them. It's like, hey, like you said, how was your day? Sometimes some youth ask me that question. It's like, hey, how are you doing? And they ask me back, it's like, I'm good. How was your day? I was like, I get light. I mean, it's like, I'm so happy, man. Like, wow, someone really cares about my day.
it's usually the other way.
Besides
Yeah.
my family, of course, alhamdulillah. So, yeah, exactly. So, just asking an adult, especially our elders, right? Another thing we need to keep in mind in this country, our youth don't necessarily have their grandparents with them. A lot of them are overseas or passed away, so they're lacking that intergenerational experience. And that applies also to the elders. Because of the nature of life in this country, a lot of people move around and move away. So you end up with elders who live by themselves. Their kids might be in a different state. And you could be that virtual grandparent for them in the masjid. They come for Isha and they see, the 17 or 22-year-old. For those 10 minutes, you're that grandchild for them, you know. So it goes both ways. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all human beings. And the Prophet ﷺ built a community, right? He didn't just focus on one segment or the other. He used to joke with the elders. He used to hang out with the youth. He used to have serious discussions with people his age and so forth. And I think we need to emulate that in our lifestyle. We've become so, like little colonies of Arab dads, Daisy moms, teenagers, elders, right? And I think we need to integrate more.
Yeah. Inshallah, I think and I think you think the same, since I believe you think the same, since you work with youth. So that inshallah, the future for us is bright as Muslims, and
Inshallah.
for our youth. And life's hard. Life brings you down, and I hope, I pray that all Muslims and non-Muslim youth alike can get through it and be able
Ameen.
to come out of it successful and believers of God, and stick to their deen. I mean.
Ameen.